Oh, you nearly got his name wrong again there,
So
Sam.
close,
So
Sam.
close, but you salvaged it at the end. And we're coming into the ending of this series now. It's second half, and really, Bazooka Puppies, they're going to have to salvage something here.
Well, they've had half-time. They've sat down with the coach and just gone, right, what's got to change? This isn't how we played last week. And we had a quick chat ourselves, our own half-time here in the casting booth. We had a chat as well. And we said the one thing that we're really seeing is for Puppies, it's a complete and a night and day scenario. Last week against Mosaic, a very static team, not really changing their picks too often. Here, they're against a team who is changing their picks by the minute. And they're struggling to adapt, it feels like here. So for them, that's the big thing they've got to fix this time round. Otherwise, this could very easily be a 4-0.
On the flip side of that as well, CIS Hope, when they find the winning combination, they know they've got it, and they stick to their guns, and it really works out for them on these longer maps. Because running on to Assault now, these maps can be very quick, because all it takes is for one team fight to go airy, and they've already got point A.
Yes, well, we know we've got two very proficient Farah players. Of course, really, really good on the first point for Hanamura as well. You get so much range and safety. That gate is basically a giant shield for you to hide behind if you really want to. And you touched on it a second ago. We've seen Widow a few times, especially around the second point. Will we finally see this fabled War of the Widows? Because as of yet, we haven't seen it.
I don't know if we're going to see it just yet. Maybe on point B. I'm not feeling it on point A, because you can see CIS Hope, they've gone for that death ball composition again, or the triple tank. They've got themselves the Diva, the Roadhog, and of course, they've got that big man Sharek at the front holding the gate. So it'll be interesting to see what Bazooka Puppies can pull through to try and break that quite solid brick wall that's going to fill in the gap in that gate.
I'm quite surprised and interested to know why they've gone with the Lucio here over something like the Mercy, because we already saw the impact she can have. And again, we all know what assault maps are like. It's quite a long walk back from spawn if you find yourself going down on that first point. So for the stall tactics that we saw them employing last time round, I'd like to see more of it come out here. But opting for this, not strictly a bad thing. It means they can go for a very, very quick clear. Something that generally a triple tank comp isn't the best thing at.
I love the bit of the sprays. They got the Year of the Dog logo. They had a claw mark on top of it. They had an X, CIS Hope, giving a little bit of visual BM to the Bazooka Puppies. So nice little touch there from CIS Hope as we jump into the offense. So got Danye on that Hanzo at the moment. I don't know if he's going to stick with it as he goes back onto the Farah, but Nesh is already getting himself through the gate, and he's gone straight onto Kenzie.
I'm wondering to see if anyone actually spot that at some point, because that is a really nice touch. They said they'd researched the team. They clearly came prepared with the emotes as well. But hey, here comes the grab. Danye straight out of the sky. Yeah,
Unfixed picking up that first frag of the game. And Danye is running in. He's had a little bit of Valatuya nightmares, a little bit of flashbacks from last week. He might have to have himself change over.
I really like this flexibility we're seeing out of CIS, because last week it was Kenzie on the Roadhog and Unfixed picks up the Tracer in his place. This time round, they've switched over. Not really something that we're used to seeing, but between these two, clearly quite confident in each other, and they're happy to trade these roles as needs be.
Yeah, Eng getting a little bit of information, riding that wall all the way to the top of the gate. See if there's been any changes to the lineup. Unfixed still holding this corner angle. He's really being the bodyguard of that window as Meta finds Eng. And now this could be an opportunity for Bazooka Puppies to push through, but they're still playing around Sharek's shield. Meza can't do enough damage to kill him out, and there's a hook straight onto Meta. Yeah, he's going to have to pull himself with that healing. They've all managed to break through that gate, and now Sharek's going incredibly low. Someone's on the point at the moment. It's Nesh getting pepper from the side, but he's going in to help his team try and whittle down these tanks. There's the obscene healing from Moira as the Coalescence going to come back through. Kenzie and Tao. They're shutting down the supports of Bazooka Puppies, and Unfixed gets D-Mech onto Meta as Nesh is still trying to weave away, but he's by himself.
They've managed to clean this one out. All the tanks are gone. Nesh just get a nice redemption kill, a bit of a consolation prize, you might say, onto Sharek. And for CIS, it looked a bit shaky, but once the Coalescence came online, we all know what kind of impact that has on the game at the moment. Big impact pushback for them, getting back onto the point, denying it away from the Puppies. Puppies don't even get towards that first tick mark.
Quick ult, quick heals coming out from main at the moment. But now Bazooka Puppies, they've got some room to play with. They have the courtyard in their possession because they've had to play a little bit further back.
I wonder how quickly CIS Hope are going to learn, because as soon as Unfixed threw out that hook onto the Diva, that was go time. And they pushed straight in there, went for the play, and it was quite a boring scenario for them. Here comes the Earth Shatter.
Earth Shatter followed up by a barrage. Danye finds Sharek while he was vulnerable as Tao going to go down to the Winston at the moment, being punched around. Kenzie, Nesh, they're trading kills on these Tracers, and Meza, he's going to be on cleanup duty. Chow jumps off the edge of the map, and Danye helps secure this point for Bazooka Puppies.
Interesting pullback there for CIS, because we said previously it's always the onus on the losing team to be the ones who have to adapt. But CIS opted, thinking after we missed that hook, then we're in a bit of a dangerous scenario. Let's pull back to the high ground. Turns out wasn't the best place to go, because Meza was like, well, hey, I'll keep all of you at the back of this house. You can't protect the point. It's an easy cap for us.
I think you may have been right about that whole Unfixed point, though, because look what he switched to when things started to go wrong for CIS Hope. Onto that soldier for the point B, and Danye, he's going to answer him with his own. So similar compositions, but it's Unfixed. He's actually gone back to the Genji, so a little bit of indecision there. This guy's got a deep hero pool. You know, he's spoiled by choice, shall we say.
It's nice when you got the combo with that as well. I would have preferred the Soldier, I think, because of the safety you can have sat behind the wall at the back, but let's see how they make this push work for them.
Well, Pulse Bomb's trading, DPS is at the moment, Transcendence blocking the door as a self-destruct's going to limit it even further. Everyone has to vacate the premises as the Resurrection comes out from Mono, and Meta going to take out his opposite man. Nesh still having to dance back, had to grab that health pack. Needs to get into the action as he spotted out Kenzie, but not able to get onto him at the moment. Oh, well, say that, and now he drops down. Sound barrier just a fraction too late for CIS Hope, and he gets the long-range shot onto Sharek as well.
That was really smart target prioritization. As soon as Darnier was a threat, they were like, Winston, 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 bring him down, and away he went. Here comes the self-destruct, catches no one.
Kenzie now onto that Widow, though. This could be big for them. Can he show up and live up to the reputation that has been built up for him? Darnier on the back, got that tack visor, fires out the rockets. He's got a Winston in his face. The bubble is going to have to be played around a little bit more, but nothing's being done. He's still spending so much time taking down Winston. Maybe get a kill onto him, but that's about it. You expect more from an ultimate like that.
That's why Soldier is so good at dealing with this backline. And finally, Kenzie is going to wake up and bring us a kill onto Darnier. That's why he took it away here, was to deal with these backliners. But look at the front line coming through from Bazooka Puppiez. They're bringing down this backline. Deals
with the backline, can't deal with the front line itself. Still staggered around the point at the moment, about 50% on the ticker as of yet. As Meta, Meze, he managed to get some kills at the moment. Kenzie onto Meza. Where's this Dragon Blade being used? He's just slashing through metal. Not very efficient as Sharek gets the Goomba Stomp onto Darnier. And they're all being held around the spawn point at the moment. Still, this fight keeps on going. No one seems to be getting a respite at the moment. But CIS Hope, they somehow bring it back around.
We keep on speaking about this flexibility. This is a next level flexibility because mid-fight, Kenzie ducked back in, switched the Widowmaker onto the Tracer, and they sprinted forward and brought down the back line. You expect changes to come through when you die. To do it whilst you're alive and under no real threat, that is impressive.
Well, that's the flexibility of CIS Hope, and Kenzie now on that Tracer nearly got the Pulse Bomb available. Nesh has got one of his own as Meta gonna have that self-destruct up in a minute.
Yeah, it's a bit of a scrappy one. I mean, in the backline for a second as well, with Meta getting in there and putting some pressure on Kenzie, I think that alone would have been enough to force you off of it, because as soon as they're sending their tanks right into your backline, your front line has more freedom to jump into the high ground and deal with those long-range attackers, such as like Darnier, who had the Tracer, with Soldier in the backline.
Self-destruct being used, going to stagger out their port. There's the nano boost onto Unfixed at the moment. Hasn't got the blade, but he should be able to accrue it fast.
Oh, Sharek.
Maybe not the best time to use it just yet, but Forsaken finds Sharek in the air. Kenzie trades with Tracer. Main even getting on the kill board with a kill onto Meza, and Bazooka Puppiez, they're going to have to bring it all the way back and try again.
Like clay pigeon shooting when you see a Winston flying through the sky.
Pull!
Never quite heard of things like clay monkey shooting, but it works.
Something to try, maybe.
There's so many times where he's almost got away, but has been caught with the final few shots and finds himself going down. That just staggers them out a bit further. Not that they'll mind. They're the defenders here on this second point of Assault, of course. So for these guys, spawn is nothing. They're just basically there straight away. In fact, I imagine you'd rather die than have to go and recover health.
But they're looking to take the high ground option again. Kenzie dives in straight away. Needs some healing. Transcendence going to get them back into the fight.
Ooh,
Second, too late to save Sharek. It doesn't matter though. Unfixed has done the work. So is Chow. And even, you know, before he went down, Sharek was able to get some kills. So Main, not got the Transcendence anymore. Bit of a risk for CIS Hope. But they still got ultimates on the board, mainly from their tank lineup.
Yeah, and Unfixed has got that ultimate once more. This time, let's see if he can do more with it. I like as well they've got Eng on the Ana, because that gives them the option to either go for the nano boost onto Sharek or onto Unfixed and just gun down or go all the way through the enemy lineup. We've always seen what nano boosted Winstons can do. It can melt lineups.
Well, here's the problem. They used the nano boost onto Unfixed when he didn't have Dragon Blade available, so they might be trying to hold on to that to get that perfect combo and shut down a push. But no, Unfixed, he's going to pull the trigger a little bit early, finds Darnier with the help of Sharek. Nail still on the face of the supports, but he didn't get any kills, but he dealt some damage and he led the charge. And the risk was enough to make Bazooka Puppiez think twice about what they were doing.
That time it was more about his contribution, I felt. It was the sheer aggression which shoved back all the Puppies, and despite having 5 ultimates on side, they still had to pull back. I like the adaptation coming through there. They've stuck with the comp, but they've stuck out these ultimates. And this time around, they said, right, guys, few minutes left, start stockpiling those ults. When we've got 6, we're going for it.
Well, it's setting up an excellent set piece from the Bazooka Puppies. It's a great way to take control of the game when you have all your ultimates at your disposal. But in that time, you can allow your opponents to also do the same. So it really puts a thorn in the side of your plan. But they've really got to move on this, because Main and Unfixed, they've got a little bit longer to go, as Forsaken nearly got that Transcendence himself. Tracer Duel still going wild. Recall's being used. Nesh is on the disadvantage at the moment, but Sharek's getting kills on the other side of the map. They're still dancing away. Finally, he goes down, but there was the nano-boosted Winston. He gunning down Darnier, and now self-destruct onto the point. They're going to dive straight on there and maybe stall it out. They've got 10 seconds remaining at the moment. They're starting to get the kills. Primal Rage, I believe, was just used by Sharek. Stall out the fight a little bit longer, and Darnier He's going to still use that tack visor, not as impactful as he wants it to be. Self-destruct on the point. Should stall this out a little bit longer. Sharek getting in the face of Danye. Nearly dead, 2 HP. What is it with these clutch survivals from the Bazooka Puppies? He's not being allowed to get away. There's the Goomba Stomp and the Lightning. And CIS Hope, they're going to shut down point B for Bazooka Puppies.
Really, really smart play from CIS Hope there, because with about 30 seconds to go, they went for the nano boost onto the Winston. Now, some would call that a bit too early. The combo hadn't been unleashed by Puppies, but in their eyes, they thought if we catch one person out with this, suddenly their whole combo falls apart. It doesn't matter that they stocked up 6 ultimates. If they can't use them as a combo, it's not going to be as effective. So smart play by CIS Hope once again.
Not a very tall mountain to get over for CIS Hope. You know, they're used to those winter weather, shall we say. There's a lot of snow to trek through, a lot of mountains. They can have that resilient movement, shall we say.
Absolutely can. Now, let's see what CIS Hope can do. For these guys, we saw just how well that Pharaoh worked last time. A little bit, should we say, contained by the Roadhog that came out of Unfixed. Once that hook was down, it was a pile in, all guns are blazing, let's charge in there and make it happen. So for these guys, if they go for the same kind of comp, why not? We've just seen it work. We know what CIS Hope can do in terms of flexibility and the comps they can bring out. Big question for me is also how Puppies adapt to it. Adaptation is not their strong point. We've seen that a little bit mostly this week, a little bit last week, but they had the kind of stronger advantage last week, you could say.
Bazooka Puppies don't look like they're opting to go for that triple tank composition that CIS Hope have been favoring a lot when they're looking to hold down locations. Instead, opting to go for that Junkrat and Tracer combination with the solid 2-2-2. And you got your wish, Des. We have a Mercy on the defense for that resurrection and the immediate shall we say, the reset of the tempo of the fight.
It's quite nice as well because they've got the counter dive coming through with Meza and Meta on the Winston and the Diva too. And you look also at the Junkrat. That's been a big one in previous weeks. We saw Meta play it last week on the Numbani, and again, that was a big pushback for them. In this case, it's more about zone denial. Stop them getting through the gate, try and force them through the window if you can, or just force them to go for a big, risky play to shove their way through. But on the other side, if they're going for this Moira on main again, worked out pretty well for them last time. Let's see if they can make it work on attack.
I think these guys might be going for a Slambulance with CIS Hope. Eng maybe going for a Recon Arrow, then he's going to switch over to that Lucio. So we could have a quad tank composition. Going to just brute force onto the point. Now, we've seen a lot of this in Overwatch League. Will it be followed through into Contenders, and will it be as effective?
The triple tank was great. I would not be surprised to see this work out well for them. Unfixed on Zarya, I'm excited to see. It's again one of the many, many heroes in his pool. Let's see how it works.
Well, look at the path and go. To use the speed boost to amp it up to reposition himself, completely negate the courtyard option, bring it in close, bring it in confined into the melee range. This is what CIS Hope wants, but they have to get through this Junkrat as Danye just going to spam those bombs and really choke out a location that they wanted to go to.
They've changed their mind. This reminded me so much of Hollywood that we saw last week, but in this case, come right down around the front again, straight onto the point.
But now they're into the point itself at the moment. Nesh on the backside with those dual pistols. Going to start shooting, but they can't break through this lineup. Sharek going low. He needs some backup healing at the moment. Chow finds Forsaken, so they're going to be denied that on the side of Bazooka Puppies. Pulse Bomb available for Nesh. There's no shield on Unfixed. He could get the tag. No, not just yet. Sharek gets a charge kill onto Meza, and now they're going to try and whittle him down. From the backside, Kenzie takes out Nesh, so the Slambulance really paying dividends for CIS Hope.
And a very smart conservative tactic. As soon as they pushed her onto point, they went straight to the back corner, set up the shield and said, we are not moving, try and get us out. It's like trying to get rid of stubborn tenants who you don't want in your house at this point. For those guys, there was no removing them from the point. Puppies, once again, though, floundering. It looks like that comp that they brought to the table in the hope of being able to delay and stall. They were hoping for more drawn-out engagements, but this quad tank completely caught them off guard.
I don't think the momentum's going to stop just yet, Des, as they already gone, oh, beautiful knock. Nearly was successful in knocking him down into the underground there from Meta. It might not be enough. They're still on the high ground. Unfixed being whittled down at the moment. The team is very separated as Danye is able to get this high ground artillery on the Junkrat. He's also being damaged because he's got Nesh in his face. Sorry, Kenzie in his face. Still gets the kill as Meza with the Primal Rage onto Unfixed. There's a Diva self-destruct in the air. Doesn't get a kill at the moment. 4
ultimates on all the tanks there. Here comes the Earth Shatter as well. This could be the big one for CIS Hope.
Well, it wasn't big for them because there was a Pulse Bomb onto Sharek and onto Eng. Kenzie's still alive, getting that healing at the moment. Used the whole hog, but a lot of it was blocked by Diva and Winston's shield. Finds Mono with the hook, going to take him out. So need to wait a couple of seconds to get any healing or resurrection. It's Kenzie about to get his healing of his own. Can he get the damage resistance out for that Riptide that's coming in somewhere? As Chow cleaning up onto the tanks himself. Takes out the Riptire as well. He's been an absolute beast on this point, keeping it all locked down. There's the Graviton. This could be it, but the Transcendence forced out by Forsaken keeps him alive. The charge kill. It's immediate, though. Mono taken out yet again on this Lucio. I think Bazooka Puppies are still able to hold because it's just Chow on the point.
Big one for them here, though, is 5 minutes 20 left on the clock. They've already got the first checkpoint. Now getting towards that second one, they've got to be feeling pretty confident. Get some more ultimates online, go for the big combo. There's a lot of time to play with.
Well, beautiful stagger there. They tried to stall out the classic lunatic high move of not allowing them to get out to that external area and get that suicide to reset quicker. But Meza actually getting the damage with that Goomba Storm. I believe it displaced him off the edge. So it just stalls him out a little bit, but it's a neat little bit of micro.
Small things sometimes can lead to great advantages. CIS Hope going to be looking for one of those big advantages. They've nearly got 2 ultimates coming online, maybe 3 or 4 if you include Eng and Sharik in the mix as well. On the other side, there's 2 though. They've got the aggressive ultimates coming out of Nesh with the Pulse Bomb. The self-destruct, great zone denial as well. This probably won't be the push for CIS unless they pull off some really smart denial plays.
Well, no healing from Chow. That was completely denied, so he's going to have to use that self-destruct. Doesn't find a kill yet. Sharik with that Earth Shatter can't get the healing from the Coalescence. He just gets bopped through by Mono. And of course, Mezzo as they jump into the fray, but the Coalescence picking up kills. Kenzie getting some of his own. There's the D-Mech onto Meta. Needs to find the Mini Diva now to shut her down permanently. CIS Hope have a huge advantage on this point, but can they get the kills coming in? Maybe just a fraction longer for Forsaken to stall it out, but it won't be the case. CIS Hope take Hanamura and go 3-0.
We spoke about that big zone denial ult of the Diva. It didn't deny any zone because the Winston shield was set up right next to it, so it caught literally no one. So for CIS Hope going well, that's one of the big ults down and out the way. We can just push our way through now. And picking off the members in quick succession means there's no stagger opportunity to come through for the defensive side. Nice and clean win, and they go 3-0.
I hate to keep harping on about the point, Des, but it really is about who's more rigid, who can adapt quicker, and CIS Hope. I mean, if they can able to play that quad tank composition, which we all know is very powerful on point A of Hanamura, you know, they've got it in their pocket, something that Bazooka Puppiez, I think if they could play it, they would in this instance. We're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, we'll bring you what should be, well, it actually is going to be the final map of this series. Welcome back. CIS Hope have just secured this series. They're 3-0 at the moment, so it won't change the outcome of the series, but can they keep it going for the clean 4-0?
Very much so, and we already spoke about this a lot last week. One map can make the difference when it comes to the end of standings at the end of week 5, for example. Once you get to that point and you're matched up on points with someone, or series wins in this case, that map difference can be all the difference between a spot in playoffs and a spot going home. Dorado going to be the last map we come to. Pretty much a guarantee at this point. I think we've seen Junkertown once so far. It was an exciting match, but for the most part, Dorado has always been the go-to for a lot of these teams. And once again, we said it for Hanamura's second point, it could be where we finally see War of the Widows. I'm dying to see it from these two teams.
So much, Des. I don't know if it's going to happen.
I want to see.
Dorado seems to be the more favorable map choice at the moment. And if you're looking at it, well, Bazooka Puppiez, they've had a lot of practice of picking maps in this series. So hopefully they're getting good at it, and Dorado is the right option for them. And maybe they could come out with a win here and salvage some pride in this series.
We keep on speaking about Kenzie as well. We mentioned that last week he wasn't super impactful, maybe slightly outclassed, you might say, last week. But so far today, I've been really impressed. His Tracer has been on point. That's why I'm really excited to see what he can do with the Widowmaker. But as it stands right now, CIS are in the driving seat. They have full control over this game. And Puppies, where was the bark and bite that they had last week? So far, they're just turning up today and basically rolling over and just saying, well, we're done here. That's the end of that. This is the kind of game we expected to see last week against Mosaic. It's happening today against CIS, which brings up questions. Does the full trinity complete itself when CIS face off against Mosaic in the future? That's going to be one for the history books.
It will be, and that's going to be happening on later on in the season. So, I mean, but it is very telling at the moment, you know, if Bazooka Puppiez, it was very close between Mosaic. Let's not underestimate that, yeah. They come out with the win, but then they get rolled by CIS Hope. Unless Mosaic has some grand improvement, or if it was a fluke, that's also a possibility as well. If I'm Mosaic, I'm sat there going, damn, we're going to have a very hard match later on in the season.
It's the most bizarre thing when you come into the group and you look at it and you go, you're looking at Mosaic in first place, probably CIS in second place. And again, everyone's beating everyone. That's what makes this group so exciting. And we all looked at the groups. We said Group A, it's got the big teams in there. Everyone's excited about that group. Group B is the group of utter clown fiesta. We're seeing teams beating teams that shouldn't beat teams, picks coming through and comps that maybe we're a bit scratching our heads at but work out wonderfully. That's what makes this group so exciting.
Well, last series, hopefully it delivers a little bit more excitement on this one, because it's been good Overwatch. It's been quality Overwatch coming out from CIS Hope, but it hasn't quite been the pop there. I want more resistance coming out from Bazooka Puppiez to really give this a final showdown.
It's like inviting someone to the boxing ring and the opponent doesn't turn up and you just stand there shadow boxing. That's kind of how it feels. And I'm not saying Puppies aren't playing well. There's some moments where they have looked pretty good. Just CIS consistently are looking better.
Well, hopefully they level it out a little bit more. We can go to Dorado, have some complete captures, maybe force out a second attempt at the map altogether. That'd be a banging finale. So let's hold on to that hope.
Stonking
finale. Absolutely stonking. But let's look at what Bazooka Puppiez need to do in this matchup. What is going to be the in for them? And we're not going to talk about it just yet, Des. I know what you've seen, but we're going to keep it off at the moment. Let's have a look at what we can predict and what we can see coming out here for Bazooka Puppiez.
Well, even though it's being hovered here, I do want to mention it very quickly because that is the one change that I want to see. I need to see this Widowmaker come out from Nesh. By far and away, it was their strongest pick last week alongside Darnier's Farah. We haven't seen too much of either of them so far. If you're in the situation where you're playing these comps that aren't working, just go and play to your strengths. It's how we saw EG beat out CIS last week, was saying you can try and adapt all you like. If we stick Nico on his Genji, which he's incredibly proficient on, if we give him a nano boost on the Ana, you are going to have a hard time stopping that no matter what combo you take. So for Puppies, go for your best. Just try and win this map away, because at least then there's something to salvage and go, last week wasn't a fluke. We can beat these teams. We've just got to find a way to really play to what we're good on, essentially.
Let's have a look at what's on the defensive lineup, because we know that already. Could be some changes coming out from Bazooka Puppiez, but we know we're going to have that Farah Mercy combo yet again. The 2-2-2 composition coming out, and Kenzie's going to be dancing around on that Tracer. So, Main, he could be the one here to help out with damage boosting. You've got to think, if they can discord the same target that Unfixed is managing to focus on with that damage boost, those rockets are going to be doing absolutely tons of damage onto Bazooka Puppiez. And if you've got someone like Nesh without that grapple hook in his pocket and he's caught out in a bad position, he's going to go down, even if we're not talking about direct.
Bit of a viewing party on the roof going on here for CIS Hope, and here comes the initial aggression. Let's see that if Puppies can pick anyone off. There we go. That's what I was wanting to see.
Well, where's the resurrection? We expected to come out of Eng, bring it back into the fight. There you go, Unfixed back into the party, and now Nesh struggling a little bit. A lot of attention onto him. They're trying to create that space, but they're really struggling against it at the moment. Grapple hook up into the air, not quite high enough to get any lines of sight. And to come around this corner, it's going to be even riskier for him. But he's just going to take pop shots at the moment, trying to get a sight onto Unfixed. But Unfixed knows exactly where he is, and it's just forcing him back with that AoE damage.
This is why it's so common to see teams hold this roof. Unless you can force them off, they have such a good spot. That's the kind of pick we want to see yet again. That's twice now.
And again, he gets
Eng as well. That's the combo gone.
Right, no more resurrections. Bazooka Puppiez, here you go. They've come out of the cage, and they're going to ready to rumble as they take out CIS Hope. They team killed them, the first one of this series, less than a minute into the game.
Unleash the beast. The Puppies are here to play, finally. I was kind of concerned that when we saw the Widow hover, that we'd see it be a quick kind of scout and maybe see what you can get on the opening and then suddenly change over. Nesh has gone for that now. They've kind of broken that initial hold that was coming out of CIS Hope, taken away that high ground, pushed into the market. Now we start to see this map get underway. I'm concerned about how it will play out as things go on, but they've forced Unfixed off of the Pharah.
Well, the Puppies are down, but not out. Sound barrier being used to lead the charge into the fight. Kenzie already with the recall. Sharek gets the leap jump onto Meza as the self-destruct finds Unfixed as well. Now Kenzie is trying to play around this statue, finding the supports, but they're moving around. There we go. Finally gets it onto Forsaken. Resurrection onto Sharek, brings him back into the fight. Danye with the blade onto main. Can't find that second one just yet. Nesh, his DPS duo though, he's going to take out Kenzie. So Bazooka Puppy still leveling out the playing field as Chow no longer has that mech available to him. Mercy in the Valkyrie form in the sky, and Meta finds down Sharek. They're healing through this soldier, but it's just not enough. Mono, a little bit of support or combat onto Eng will get them through point B. Point A.
Much better coming out of them on this first initial push. I've got to say that the harassment coming from Kenzie on that Tracer was sublime. In the backline, constantly bringing down the support, especially main, forcing reses out to go onto him rather than onto one of the DPS, for example. Once he got dealt with by Nesh, that pressure kind of eased up. They could go for the big push, and that's when they managed to win this fight out. Now we've got Kenzie picking up the Widowmaker for himself. So a change in roles between him and Nesh, you might say. Second point was where we would say we would see this Widow coming out. Now let's see how Kenzie can deliver.
But Unfixed, with his deep hero pool, he's able to pick up the slack with the Tracer role, and that's exactly what he's going to do. Go on to that. Now they're contesting over the church high ground at the moment. Bazooka Puppies already got it round to the front of the building as Chow, a little bit by himself. He has got that tank for Sharek to back him up. There is the self-destruct. A little bit of a leap damage onto Mete. Perfect timing and accuracy by Sharek. He's been nailing so many of the Goomba stomps this game, and he gets Meta again as the self-destruct finds no one, and the Primal Rage from Meza going to start getting kills even further.
Oh, almost missing the pick off there. In fact, going into a bit of a 1v1 with the Zen and losing Kenzie. Not having the best start, but a little bit of a gattle down.
That's
cheating. Come on, man. We said scopes only.
Yeah, no scopes here, unfortunately. But Kenzie picking up even more kills onto Meza, and they've got control of the points. The payload is being held in the front of this building, perfectly around the corners. So a lot of terrain to play around for CIS Hope.
Great pick there by Kenzie, and this is why you want the pressure of a Widowmaker on side, and why we spoke so highly about Widowmaker players last week, is sometimes it's not about the kills that you secure, it's about the pressure you create. You make it hard for a lot of members of the enemy team to get free maneuverability. Kenzie behind them here might find a nice and easy pick onto a support.
I love that. He knew where they were cowering, so he went for an alternative angle, gets it onto Mono, bang, shoots him through the trees, makes sure Mono will go down. So no hippity-hopping for him for a bit as Unfixed follows up with a pulse bomb kill onto Forsaken, so no support for the Puppies at the moment. Unfixed again onto Meza and Meta, and Kenzie finding Danye as well. Bazooka Puppies, they've been shut down in this second stage.
We mentioned earlier on that we saw Unfixed and Kenzie switching over. It was Unfixed playing the Roadhog and Kenzie on the Tracer. Now things have switched around once again. Kenzie, usually the guy we see picking up Roadhog here, but Unfixed showing why he is considered a proficient Tracer as well. 3 kills in that last fight, both tanks and a support, all off his own back.
Well, Dragon Blade available for Danye, so I want to see him go nice and high up into the sky and dive down onto CIS Hope. He can see those squishy members at the back. If he can do this blade correctly, he can take out that back line. He's going in. Oh, he misses the dash. He gets back up eventually, though, straight onto the support. Eng really struggling here, getting peppered down by the tanks. They all fell back and supported their team and shut that blade down.
Smart play, and we were speaking earlier on about supports pre-broadcast. This was about supports backing each other up. That's when you see a strong duo. In this case, what you're seeing from both Eng and Main is they are basically sitting on each other. When one is focused, the other one is there giving support, either laying down DPS or providing the heals to keep their co-support alive.
But they're not afraid to call for help as well. And a nice pop-off by Kenzie onto Nesh again. This is what I'm talking about, though. They get the support from their teams. You got Chow and Sharek come back to the supports, help him with the diving Genji. And Kenzie found a new position. He repositioned with the grapple hook and tries to line up some more shots. He knows there's a Genji behind that statue. He saw the dash, lining up the shots. He's got the damage boost, gets a pop off to Winston, but now he knows they're getting too close for him to keep up that position. So we'll go back to the safety of his team, and the support death ball still on the high ground.
It's good positioning because these two supports are basically sat on Kenzie as well. They know their win condition, and they are playing to it right now. Puppies, they've got a minute to go, Tridd. They've got to make something work.
Well, Sharek shut down Forsaken already with the bop around on that Primal Rage as Kenzie finds Meza. Yet again, someone needs to shut this guy down. He's now living up to the hype we had for him coming into week 1. And even Main is shutting down Danye now on the Zen.
The thing is, Kenzie is being uncontested so far. Nesh has finally gone for the switch onto the Widow, dropping the Tracer. We've already said this about the Puppies so many times today, is that they aren't willing to switch when things aren't looking looking so great. They've got 30 seconds to play with. This is a bit too late from Nesh. They could have done this a minute and a half ago and seen how it worked out then.
They're playing with a bit of a handicap now. 30 seconds left before they make that final switch. And now Nesh really needs to pop off here to bring the team back in. But he's been stuck already by Unfixed. He had his number straight from the bat. Shuts that down, so it's really hard for Bazooka Puppiez to keep this up as Danye. He's brought down Kenzie, finally. No resurrection being used by Eng just yet. The Transcenders will keep everyone healthy on the point. Chow gonna go down, lose that mech. Did have self-destruct available, couldn't quite get it off though, as Danye will clean him up with the help of Meta. So Bazooka Puppiez still alive in this game, but they are on the inch of defeat.
CIS will be kicking themselves a little bit there for messing up and not keeping their eye on Danye, I should say, and keeping track of whereabouts he was. If they can contest this point and hold them here, that puts them in a brilliant stead going into the attacking round. But first and foremost, they've got to stop the Puppies here at the gate.
Well, they're having a bit of a sniper wall. Infrasight available for Kenzie at the moment. He knows where his opposing man is, but they're not peeking the angle, so they've got a good read on each other. Transcendence coming out onto the payload. Unfixed finds Forsaken yet again.
Got it!
Nesh finally gets Kenzie and shuts him down in that War of the Widows as Danye, clean through Eng, shuts down any resurrection as Nesh finds another pick on the Sharik. Onto Chow as well. Nesh wasn't going to sit on the sidelines and let another Widowmaker show him up.
Like I said, though, he's now got 5 kills in this fight. This is ridiculous, but like we said earlier, why did it take you until the final 30 seconds to make this call? This was your key strength last week, and so far, you've flailed about, you've kind of really struggled to deal with them because of the high ground advantage that they had. There was so much protection on Kenzie. Now they're in a 1 versus 1. It worked out wonderfully for them, and now he's going to switch over to the Tracer for the final point, as will Kenzie.
Yeah, so the DPS duos are mirroring each other in their picks on this final stage. They've only got 1 minute left for Bazooka Puppiez. This can be a very stagnated stage of the map if played correctly by the defensive team. So a lot of work to be done here, but all it takes is a good, clean wipe, and they should be able to force us out to the end. Sharik gonna have that lightning at the moment, gonna dash through him. Danye still sitting on the Dragon Blade at the moment. Xiao trying to block all that he can with that defense matrix, might not be enough for it. They're taking on to the high ground at the moment. Danye, uncontested. No one's really paying attention to him, but he's not really imposing himself on the fight too much as Chow shuts down Meza. Also gets the D-Mech onto Meta as well. And there, the micro rockets will shut down Meta. And he finds Mono as well. Is there anything this guy can't do?
Very, very versatile, you got to say, on this Diva. But I think in that case, Danye was very scared to pull the trigger because he knew that Eng had that ultimate alive. He was healing the members up with the Valkyrie. If he tried to go in, he would have really struggled to get any big picks off. So it was more a case of waiting. Problem was, once they'd finished waiting and that ult came offline, that's when Chow got that triple kill.
But there's such a disparity in ultimates. They're probably only going to get Sound Barrier and Pulse Bomb. The rest of the team from Bazooka Puppiez don't have enough time to build up that ult charge unless they really stagnate this fight. Danye is going to have to leave the charge with this blade. Nice little stick coming out from Kenzie. Doesn't find a kill, but there we go. Nesh is onto him. Sound Barrier being used. Sharik finds Forsaken, so they won't have a trans for this last fight unless they can stall it out. Chow finds Meza as well, so 1 tank down. Kenzie trying to ride around. Nesh won't find him. His main takes down Mono, so just the DPS alive and Meta, but he'll go down. Unfixed slashes through Nesh. That blade didn't even get popped by Danye, and they're going to stop Bazooka Puppiez in stage 3.
I was keeping an eye on Danye for pretty much the entirety of that fight, saying, when is this blade going to come out? You are literally in overtime. If you're going to use blade, it's got to be now, or you'll never get the chance to use it. But he kept on holding on and holding on. He kept on taking chip damage, and eventually found himself going down. I think even in the case where you wanted to run away and just keep yourself alive for a few more seconds, there is no harm in pulling out the blade and just getting that extra shift coming through. The swift right to escape again, if it keeps you alive, it's worth it because they're still going to be putting attention onto you. The fact he went down with the blade meant that kind of whole attack fell apart towards the end. And CIS Hope in a pretty good spot. They held up that second point for a long time. It didn't give the Puppies too much time to work with on the third and final point. And now the ball is in their court. Can they 4-0 the Puppies?
It's doable. It's so doable, Des. That's the biggest problem with it. About halfway into stage 3, you can put it out. We've seen how dominant CIS Hope have been against the Puppies. Their offense has been so much stronger than their defense. So, yeah, really, if I had to put my money on it, I would say CIS Hope will get the 4-0 in this one. But Bazooka Puppiez playing a lot stronger on Dorado than they had been on any map prior to this. So maybe it's a different game altogether for CIS Hope coming into this final map.
Let's see how the picks fluctuate as they go through as well. Of course, Puppies pretty solid on what they've gone for so far, pulling out the defensive side. Nesh opted for the Soldier. I don't mind this because, again, the Widow was pretty good. We saw him on Soldier a couple of times last week, and it was pretty clean overall. Real question is not going to get those one-tap pickoffs onto the members of CIS Hope. Kenzie is opting for the Widow at the moment. If he chooses to stick on this, well, we saw what a difference it made last time when Nesh went for the Widow on their first point attack when they were being really well held here on the roof. What I'd like to see out the gate from CIS is charge straight into this high ground, clear it out, because that's where they managed to stall the Puppies out for a good 45 seconds in the last round.
You've only got 2 members up there at the moment. It's the tank lineup holding that position. What I'm concerned about, though, is Sharek, Chow, and also Unfix getting onto this triple backline line of Nesh, Forsaken, and Mono, because they're all going to be stuck together, and if they dive coordinating their attacks, they should be able to roll that backline and just leave the tanks out to dry. We'll see how that progresses as we move into the map.
Yep, Kenzie going up high as well, see if he can find anyone out initially. Answer is no, but at least there's not really a heavy contest coming through, and this is where the Puppies, I think, a little bit unsure. Yes, they've got some long-range support coming through, and you've even got a Tracer off to the side here at the bottom side doing a bit of harassment work, but CIS Hope so far looking pretty comfortable.
Just being a little bit of a pest at the moment, just detracting their attention is Danye with the fade away onto Unfixed, so he wins that first Tracer duel, but there'll surely be plenty more as the map goes on. Payload not yet being contested until now. Finally, Meta gets on it, stops its movement. Kenzie on the back line, uncontested, looking for a pick, and it's really forcing Bazooka Puppies to play inside these houses. That's a great opportunity for some of these tanks to get in there and start rumbling.
Yeah, all supporting the side flank here as well, giving room for Kenzie to do what he does best. He is being opposed, actually, as Chow has now left the scene, going straight into the Mercy in the back. The Pulse Bomb comes out, but will catch no one. Yeah,
Danye, that's what he needs to do. Just get up into Kenzie's face and not allow him to have these uncontested picks as he goes onto the back line. He gets support this time from Meza, and there we go. That's when it starts to go alarm for him. But it's Meza getting the kills, but it's Danye doing the legwork for him. Finally gets shut down by Unfix, so a little bit of revenge for earlier. They're still having the Valkyrie to keep them sustained. Chow in the face of Meta. He's going to get the resurrection onto Sharek, keep him back in the fight. And now Meta, without that mech, should be an easy kill. He's got lightning and rockets coming straight at him. No way to survive. And CIS Hope, relatively quick, first checkpoint.
I imagine the Puppies team chat right now is pretty quiet. They need one person to just stand up and just whisper, winnable. They've got to get that mentality back, because right now it's looking a bit shaky. The defense that came through at the start looked okay with the tanks. It wasn't particularly solid. They lost that high ground pretty quickly. And admittedly, the auto of Nesh here, I'm surprised they actually found 3. That's a big surprise. I thought it was going to be a big zoning. He finds 4 people with that visor.
Huge ultimate from Nesh, but it's at the wrong time. The payload wasn't going to move anywhere. It's stagnated. All they've done is reclaim some of the territory, and they've been able to play a little bit more aggressive on this defense. But if that would have happened when the payload was in motion and he didn't lose his head to Kenzie, even better. But Mono's going to resurrect him, forsaking it to kill onto Unfixed as well. There comes the self-destruct. Play around the statue. No one's going to get hit by that explosive. So immediately, he's still getting harassed by Danye. He has to reposition quickly. Can't keep track of him at the moment. As Danye finds Eng as well. He's really popping off on the Tracer. 2 HP and a slap of the pistol should seal the deal. Now, Bazooka Puppies, they're still keeping this aggressive positioning, not letting them out of the spawn. I was doubting the viability of that tack visor to win that fight, but it's paying them dividends.
It's because of the stagger that they've got coming through. They could push so deep, and generally that's the kind of time where if you're playing in competitive, someone will start screaming, right guys, back, 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 too far, too far. You basically push into their spawn zone at that point, which is a huge risk. If you get picked off there, they get a lot of free push time, but to be honest with you, the aggression that they just showed there, the amount of return on investment that they got from that tack visor, like you said, that was enormous for them. Now let's see how well they can hold this high ground, though. Very, very hard to unseat teams here if you're not coordinated on your push, but look around the side behind them.
Kenzie going on the back angle, gets a pick onto the Zenyatta, immediately takes out Danye with the flick. Going to stop that Tracer harassment. Oh, Nesh, as he runs out the side. He's not even going for a He's got another one. Kenzie has just dismantled Bazooka Puppies by taking away their position.
It's not the first time we've seen this tactic be employed either, and that's the exact reason why. Your supports are playing so far back. They don't want to get themselves caught out from the front, so you leave your flank completely exposed, and that is a great angle to see a Widowmaker come through. Nesh has switched over, but I'm already asking, is it now too late because they're on the final stages of defense?
But that's the pattern with Bazooka Puppies. Too little, too late in their picks and their adaptation. What I really like about it, though, is that, too little, too late for Kenzie. Pulled the trigger to the fraction after his death, and it won't get the kill. Resurrection by Eng, so he's got the pocket mercy to keep him sustained. Transcendence was just used to keep that fight alive. Self-destruct goes into the air, lands on the payload, but it's so close to getting that checkpoint and extending out this time bank. Kenzie, there gets the shot onto Nesh. This War of the Widows, it's finally happening, Dez.
That's what I've been so excited to see, and you can see why, because it's so back and forth in nature. Both Mercies essentially pocketing the Widows. They're going at it again, Tridd.
Going out again. White and red streaks flying around. Meza getting a couple of kills while that's going on. Just needs to get this Mercy, take her out. There's the Primal Ray. Finally takes out Nesh, so it's not the 1v1, but Meza, he does the exact same thing to Kenzie and shuts him down. The Winstons really did want to disrupt this one-on-one sniper duel and really swing it in favor of them. Pulse Bomb available for Unfixed. Does get the stick. Going to recall away. Sharek in the meantime picks up 2 kills of his own. Just a Diva left, and look at this. You now have Unfixed, I believe. No, it was Mono jumping straight onto the point, but there's a capture. Look how much. They got 2 minutes more than Bazooka Puppiez had. This is looking like it's going to be a CIS Hope map as well.
A big note I had in my notes this week was Meza versus Sharek. Who was going to be the bigger impact Winston? Who was going to shut down those Widows? It's really
so
hard.
It's
really hard to measure, because when there's a Mercy sat on them, it is such a big risk playing Winston, diving onto that duo in the back line. For the most part, though, you just go, well, we've got Nesh, we've got Kenzie. Let's have a matchup and see who wins out. It's direct head-to-head. And to be honest with you, both of them had really good shots there. Back and forth constantly. Now it's all about the Tracer, though, for Nesh.
Well, a gentleman's agreement can only last so long. They're now clashing over the payload. Self-destruct goes into the back line, going to force aggressive positioning. Nesh takes a shot, but it won't be enough to kill him as he's being lightning down without the recall. Sharek, he smells blood. He's trying to go for it, but Unfixed. He's cleaned up Meza and Mono. There's no one on the payload. A couple of seconds to go. Nesh can't get in range, and CIS Hope take the series 4-0.
Nothing, the big word, the big non-number, you might say, in that scoreline. Puppies, what happened? Last week going 3-2, dismantling who we thought would be the top team. CIS Hope going, that was just a blip on the radar to us. This is nothing. And they truly have shown today why they are considered one of the stronger teams in the group. That's the kind of performance I would have expected to see last week from Mosaic.
Absolutely. And if this wasn't a fluke, it really does throw the group and CIS Hope. They're now looking like one of the stronger teams in Group B, so a lot to look forward to for them as we move through the rest of the group. But of course, that was only the first game of the day, Des. We've got 2 more to go. So we're going to go over to our analyst to close out this game and set you up for the next one.